Guys, good morning to all. Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Shall we start the session, guys? Yes. Okay. So listen. Hold on. Okay. So listen. For this, I hope you all know that this training is specific for a Capgemini, right? Okay. So we are going to discuss the pseudocoda question. Okay. So while discussing, please keep pen and paper with you. Okay. So first, let me display the question. Okay. I'll give you some time. Okay. What you're going to do is you are going to note down your answer. Okay. So I'll give you the answer also. Okay. So every 15 minutes we are going to discuss the doubt. Every 15 minutes we are going to discuss the doubt. Okay, so I will give you some time. At that time you can post your doubts. In case if you are having any doubt, please note down your doubt. Okay, in the doubt session itself you have to post your doubt. In see, while during the session, in case if you have posted your doubt, means I can't see that one. Okay, better is to post your doubts at the time of a doubt clarification session. So every 15 minutes we'll have a doubt clarification session. Right. So now the time is going to be 9:40. Okay. See, before start the doubt session, let me let me tell you. Okay. So probably we'll discuss 3 or 4 problems, or else let's the maximum limit is going to be 5 problem. After discussing a 5 problem, I'll give you some time for asking a doubt. Okay. Clear, guys? Is it okay for you all? Shall we start the session? Okay, so this is going to be the first question. Take a look of it. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to read this question. Okay, you can solve this question. Okay, and then I'll give you the answer for this one. Okay, okay, I hope you got it. Okay, just take a look of it. Just note down all your answers in some separate sheet. Okay, finally, let's check. Okay, if you want, I'll read this question also. Suppose a queue is implemented using a linked list and its front node and rear node are tracked by a reference variable that is nothing but a pointer, right? So which of this reference variable will change during an insertion into a non-empty queue? Okay, that is the important thing, insertion into a non-empty queue. So if your queue is a non-empty means while doing an insertion, which one will get changed? That is going to be the question here, right? Okay, so the answer for this one is going to be what? The answer for this one is going to be definitely which one will get change? Rear will get change because usually we use this rear to insert a node. In a queue, if you want to insert some data means you should insert at the end of that queue. Right? Okay, if you want to delete some data from your queue means at that time you have to do your delete operation at the place of front. Clear? Okay, and one more thing, this non-empty is a very important clue they have given in a question. In case if it is a non-empty means rare alone will get changed. In case if it is an empty queue, means while doing a insertion both will get changed. So the answer for this question is going to be only the rare will change, right? Okay, so now let's move to the next question. Okay, so this is going to be the next question. Take a look of it. Okay, this is your option A, and then option B, option C, and option D. Right? Okay. So what will be the probability of selecting a random node from a given linked list? Okay, so they have given a linked list. Your task is to find the probability of selecting a random node. We can choose any node from that linked list. Okay, so the probability of selecting a node from a linked list. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute for this problem. Okay, just solve this one and then I'll explain. Okay, so the answer for this question is going to be what? 1 by n. Right, so how many nodes are there in your linked list? That is going to be defined by n. Right, so the probability of picking one node from your linked list is going to be definitely 1 by n. So the answer for this question is going to be 1 by n. Right, okay. So now let's move to the next question. Okay. So the order of an internal node in B plus tree index is the maximum number of children it can have. Okay, suppose that a child pointer takes a 6 bytes. The search field value, okay, this is nothing but a field value. The search field value takes a 14 bytes, and the entire block size is going to be what? 5 and 12 bytes. So what is going to be the order of this internal node? What is going to be the order of this internal node? Right, okay. So for you should find the order of this internal node. For that, they have given some data that is child pointer bytes, and then your field data bytes, field value bytes they have given, and along with that they have given a block size also. Right, so we need to find the order of a internal node. Okay, so the answer for this one is going to be 26. The answer for this one is going to be 26. Here is the explanation for this problem. Right, okay. So key size, they have given a key size. Look at your question. Actually this is a format. With the help of this format only, we are going to calculate the order of our B plus tree. Right, Okay. Okay, let me explain the first question once again. Okay. So listen, suppose a queue is implemented using a linked list and its front node and the rear node are tracked by two reference variable. Right. So which of this reference variable will change during a insertion into a non-empty queue? Right. Okay, see, you are going to use your linked list as a queue means, so for that, see, in a queue we need to do this insert and delete operation at two different end. I hope you all know that, right? So in case if it is a stack means we are going to do insertion and delete at the same place, but in a queue we need to do these two operation at the different places, right? So for that we have given a name which is a front and rear, right? Okay, so the question is going to be, you're going to do an insertion into a non-empty queue. That means there is a queue, your queue is a non-empty one. Okay, so if you want to add one element into your queue means definitely which point alone will get changed, only the rear will get changed. Okay, so if you are doing an insertion into a non-empty queue, your rear alone will get changed, right? The same question, during a deletion into a non-empty queue. Deletion into a non-empty queue means at that case, which one will get changed? Your friend alone will get changed in a non-empty queue, right? Okay, in case if your queue is empty, in case if your queue is empty means at the time of insertion, both pointer will get changed. Okay, both pointer will get changed. Clear? But for this question, the answer is going to be only the rear will change. The reason is the queue is going to be a non-empty. They have mentioned this queue as a non-empty. Clear? Okay. So now let's back to the question number 3. Okay. So listen, though this is going to be one of the constraint. Okay, in a B plus tree. So we are going to use this formula for finding the order of n. Right. Okay, so listen, block size they have given, key size, block size, and your child pointer. Key size is nothing but your field value, search field. Okay, search field, this search field we are going to consider as a key. So this one, it's going to take a 14 bytes. Likewise, your child pointer takes the 6 bytes. Okay, and then the block size they have given us 512. So what I have done here is I have substitute these value into this formula. So block size is going to be 512, right? And then n minus 1, see, our task is to going to find this n. So n minus 1 into 14, key value is going to be 14, right? And then n into child pointer size. Child pointer, they have mentioned it as 6 bytes, right? And after that, what I have done is I have solved this formula, solved this relation. That's it. So 14 into n. So now this becomes what? 14n. 14 into n and then minus 14 plus 6 into n. Right. So and after that, what you can do? You can change this as, listen, 512 greater than or equal to 20n minus 14. Am I right? 20n minus 14. Right. So now we can change this as, see, you can bring this 40 minus 40 into the left hand side. Right. So while bring this onto a left side means you have to change this sign. So how will you change it? 512 plus 14 and then greater than or equal to 21. Now we can write equal to 20n. Right. And then we can change this as 512 plus 14 divided by 20 is equal to 9. Yes, that is what I have write it here. That is what I have write it here. And then after that, you have to solve this. So while solving, you will get this 26 as a result. So that only the answer for this question is going to be 26. Okay. So keep this formula in your mind. This is an important thing. In case in a question they might change your child pointer value and your search field value also. In case if they change means you can find that order of n with the help of this formula. Clear? Okay, so now we can make use of this one to find the order. Okay, so now let's back to the fourth question. Okay, so look at the fourth question. Consider a list of 12 numbers. Okay, they have given an array of numbers. We try to sort this list using a quick sort by taking 44 as a pivot element. Then which of the following list will be obtained after the iteration? Right, so consider a list of 12 elements. Okay, so you have to consider this 44 as a pivot. Okay, if you consider this as a pivot, okay, you need to show the result after the iteration, after completed your process. Right, so what we are going to know is we are going to set only this 44 at the appropriate place. That is going to be the quicksort algorithm. Right, so if you know the quicksort algorithm perfectly, you can directly choose your option from, or else what you have to do, you have to do a manual execution. Right, okay, so I'll give you 1 minute. Okay, take a paper and solve this one. Later I'll show you the option. Okay, later I'll show you the option. Now we are going to find the solution without an option. So this is going to be your array, because you should know the quick shot algorithm. Okay, so this is going to be the list of number. What you have to do is you need to fix this 44 at the appropriate place, so that only they just ask you to take this as a pivot element. Right, okay, solve this one. Okay, meanwhile, let me write this number in a Excel sheet. Guys, hold on. $33. Okay, that 44, 33, 11, 15, right? So 44, 33, 11, and then next one is going to be 55, 77, 55, 77, 90, 40, 60, 99, 40, 60, 99, and then next one is going to be 22, 88, 66. 22, 88, 66, 22, 88, 66. Okay, did we write all the elements? 43, 33, 11, 55, 77, 90, 40, 60, 99, 22, 88. Yes. So this is going to be the given array. Okay, so this is going to be our given array. Now we are going to start working on this element. Right, so let me list out the index value so it would be easy for us. Right, see, listen, in question they have asked us to consider this 44 as a pivot. Okay, they just asked us to consider this 44 as a, okay, I hope you all have completed. Okay, I'll give you one. Okay, I will give you some time. So first you just complete this, then I will explain the solution. So this is the given array. They just asked us to take this 44 as a pivot. Okay, they just asked us to take 44 as a pivot. Okay, so now let's start solve this one. Listen, I'll show you the answer also. Okay, so the correct answer for this one is going to be option A. The answer for this one is going to be what? Option A, right? So let me explain how did we get this. Listen. So first to 44. Okay, let me, the quicksort algorithm is going to be, you should place this 44 at the appropriate place. Okay, in that place, all element which is less than this, then this 44 should present on the left hand side of this 44. Okay, so the element which is greater than this 44, that should occur on the right hand side of an array. This is how we are going to split our array. Okay, so if you place this 44 at one place means the left side element should be the less than of this 44. Okay, the all element which is present on the right hand side, that should be greater than this 44. This is the algorithm of a quicksort, right? Okay, so initial we are going to consider this as the first element we have considered as a pivot, so that I'm going to use I and J, right? Okay, so the initial value is going to be, what we have to do is we have to set your I as 1. J is also 1. You can set like this. Okay, so listen, I'm going to compare this J with my pivot. Look at your J value. J value is what? 33, right? So which is less than this 33. That means you don't need to do anything. If this element is less than means you don't need to do anything. So what you can do is you can just increment it. Okay, so just increment your J value, and after that you can increment your J value, right? And again I'm going to compare this one with the pivot value, which is less than. Okay, so if it is less than means what you have to do is increment your I, and then you don't need to do anything, right? Okay, so now you have to be careful. Listen, so now look at this 55. 55 is what? 55 is greater than your 44. In case if it is greater means, in case if your array element, see, I'm going to compare every time. I'm going to compare my array of J and pivot alone. Array of J and pivot, we are going to compare these two values. Okay, if your array of J is greater than your pivot is having 44, this 55 is greater than that one. If it is greater means just change your J alone. Just change your J alone. In case if it is lesser, you can change your I and J, right? Okay, so now listen, and we need to do one more additional process also, that will I explain later, in case if you have found any lesser value, right? So listen, if your I, now J, I having a 2, J having 3 as a result, right? So this 33, look at your 33, 55, which is greater than your what? Greater than your pivot. In case if it is greater, increment your J alone. And look at your fourth index value, which is 77. This is also greater than the 44. This is also greater than the 44. Okay, so if it is greater than 44 means what you have to do? Increment your J. And fifth index value is going to be 90. Fifth index value is going to be what? 90, right? So now what you have to do? Look at, compare these two values. This is greater. This J is having a greater value than your pivot. Increment it, right? Okay, now we are going to compare this array of J and pivot. Look at this value 40. Look at this value. What is 40? Which is less than your 44. Which is less than your 44. So now what you have to do is, listen, this I is pointed, the I value is pointed the last value which is less than this 44. Look at this 22. This 22 is pointing 11, which is less than your 44. Okay, so now we have encountered one more value which is also less than our pivot. Okay, so now we have encountered one value which is also less than our pivot. So what we have to do? You should bring this 40 here. Okay, where will you place this 40? You should place this 40 at the next place of this one, because the last minimum is pointed by a I. So now, in case if you have found any less than value in your J, increment your I. Okay, so just do an increment. Okay, so now you can swap these 2, 3, and 6. Sorry, guys. Okay, okay, guys. Sorry for the interrupt. Okay. So now I have increment my I value. Now I have increment my I value. Now this becomes what? 55. Now it's pointing 55 and 6 is pointing 40. Now I'm going to swap these two values. So if you have swapped, means this becomes 40 and this one becomes 55. Right? Okay. And after that, what you have to do? Now I'm going to work for this 7. After that, I'm going to work for this 11. See, look at this. Up to this, all these elements, which are all less than your 44. Up to this, all these elements are less than the 44. So that only we have used this I to point that less than element. I is pointing 3. Right. So now I'm going to work for 7. Now I'm going to work for what? 7. Right. So look at your 7 value. This is 60, which is greater than our what, which is greater than 44. So what you have to do, if you found greater, increment J. 99, this is also greater. Look at your 9 index value. This is having what, which is less than, which is what, less than. So if you found any less than value, means you should add this 22 into this group. You should add this 22 into this group. So for that, first you should increment your I. And after that, I'm going to swap this 4th index value and 9th index value. So now automatically here you will have 22 and this is going to be 77. Right. So now this is also comes under this lower range, 22. Right. And after that, I'm going to increment this 10. This is a greater value than 44 and 11 is also greater. Now we have processed our entire array. Look at this. Now we have split this array into two parts according to this pivot value. The pivot value they have given as a 44. Now we have split this array into a two parts. See, it need not to be a sorted one. Now we have split this based on the constraint. Right. So now we should place this 44 here. This is the correct place for fit of 44. So for that, what we have to do, if you want to place this 44 here, means for that you have to swap these two values. You have to swap these two values. So now my pivot comes here. 22, we have placed it at the first place. So now we have splitted array like this. Now we have placed this 44 at the appropriate place. Right. So that only the correct option for the for this one is going to be a option. Okay, see, with the help of this 44 we can find it. So listen, 44 is here. Look at this, all values which is present on the left side. This is going to be, should be less than. Okay, so these are all the greater value than this 44. Here also will have a 44. But look at this, on the left hand side we had a 77, which is not less than this 44. So this is not satisfy the property of a quicksort. So we can conclude that the answer for this question is going to be what? A. Right? Okay. So now I'll give you some. Okay. Now we can discuss our doubts. Guys, in case if you are having any doubts, you can post your doubt. See, okay, so listen, guys, let me read it one by one. See, generally in Quicksort, we can use a two-pointer from start and end. That is an implementation. I'm just explaining an algorithm. Okay, see, you can see for this problem, they asked us to take the 44 as a pivot. 44, they have placed it at the first element of this array. On other hand, what we can do is we can take the last element as a pivot. That is one more option. Or else we can take a middle element as a pivot. Okay, so in question, they just mention us to take the first element as a pivot. According to that, I have explained the algorithm. See, I'm just explaining the algorithm. While implementing, while typing a code, you can use, as you said, I'm going to start from one end and another variable I'm going to start. See, I am going to start from the zeroth index. J, I'm going to start from the end index. As per your use, as per your wish, you can do, right? Okay, till now, no doubts. Okay, explain the second question. Okay, can you show the answer with a question mark? See, while explaining a question, why did we swap 24 and 44? Okay, listen, let me explain it. The pivot element, the array element is same. Yes, we supposed to consider the pivot from an array. Yes. See, I just turn off my screen sharing. Okay, well, yes, screen is not shared. Okay, while doing a doubt clearing session, I just off my screen, so don't worry. Could you please brief what happened in the first 40 minutes? See, we have started our class from the 9:40 itself, I think. Okay, we are at the orientation of Binar. Okay, let me explain it. Repeat the last question. Can you explain if it is possible? What if the pivot and array element is same? Okay, what if the pivot and array element is same means, see, that comes under a less than. If they are same means, definitely this satisfy the less than case. So in that case, it can be either present on the left or right, but that could be on the immediate of your pivot. So that won't gives you any problem, right? Last step where 44 comes after 22. Okay, so listen, first let me read all your doubts and then I will explain. We have joined the class. Let's start it. Okay, so listen, guys, as per your wish, what I'm going to do now is let me show you the all questions with an answer. Okay, let's start from the first one. And finally, I will explain that last problem, quicksort. See, I already told you that. Okay, let me explain that quicksort once again, no problem. Okay, and I will explain that, repeat the swapping process. Okay, I'll repeat it. The position of 44 after this order. Yes, we can directly say the position of 44, which is going to be the next of our I. Yes. Okay, guys. So most of the doubts, it's in that last question, quicksort. Right? Okay. I'll explain it once. So no problem. So before that one, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the, I'm going to show you the questions along with its answer. Okay, so far we have discussed only the four problems. Okay, the fourth one I'll explain it later. Clear? Okay, so listen. Okay, this is the first question. So the answer for this question is going to be B. Okay, I hope you all read this. Let's move to the next question. Okay, this is going to be the next question. The answer for this one is going to be 1 by n. Okay, so the probability of selecting a random node from a given single list is going to be 1 by n, right? Okay, and then the next one is going to be this question. For this one, answer is going to be 26. Okay, just take a look of this question, and then later I'll show you the explanation for this question also. Okay, I'll show you the explanation for this one, right? Okay, so listen, here we are going to use this formula. If you want, you can make note of this one. Block size is equal to n minus 1 into key size. Key is nothing but your field value. They just mention in a question as a field value, right? Okay, so the field value bytes and then n into child pointer. So we are going to substitute all the values what they have given in a question, right? So for getting the order of n. Okay, see, I can't explain the entire b plus tree concept. Just make a note of this formula. This is enough for finding the order of n. Clear? Okay, and after that what I have done here is I have substitute all my values. So finally I just found this n. Clear? Okay, if you want, just take a look of it. See, people who join now, just note down this. Okay, so now let's back to the fourth question. This is nothing but a quick sort. Listen, they have given an array element. Okay, what they have mentioned it is they have to ask they have asked us to take 44 as a pivot element, right? Okay, so then which of the following list will be obtained after the iteration? Right side, what we are going to do now is we are going to process this data, right, according to the rule of a quicksort. Okay, so you asked me to explain that once again. Okay, I'll explain it once again. Listen. See, the probability is nothing but how many nodes are there in your linked list. That is going to be based on the n. See, this is a general, it's like a general aptitude question. N elements are there. Okay, n elements are there. What's the probability of picking one element from that one? It's going to be 1 by n. Right, so that is why the answer is going to be 1 by n. So which is similar to a aptitude question, right? Okay, and now this is going to be our array element. Let me consider this 43 33 first. Let me start from the first as per your wish. Okay, 44 first. Let me delete all my array element first. Okay, I'm going to load my array element with okay, listen, 44 33 11 55 77, right? So 44 33 11 11 55 77 And then next one is going to be 90, 40, 60. So 90, 40, 60. Then next 99, 22, 88, 66. 99, 22, 88, 66. Okay, so this is going to be our array, given array elements. Right, so what they have done is they just asked us to consider this as a pivot. They have mentioned it in a question, right? So that I'm going to consider this as a pivot. So for my process, see, I am always comparing this array of j and array of I alone, array of j and array of I alone, right? So initially, I'm going to set this as a 1 and I is going to be 0. I am going to set it as 0, j I'm going to set it as 1. Right, so for the first time, I'm going to compare this pivot value, which is with this array of j. J is having 1. I'm going to compare these two values. Right, so this 33 is less than this 44. This 33 is less than this 44 means what you have to do is you have to increment your I. Okay, see, in case if you have found any less than element, what you have to do is increment it and then place that minimum element at the correct place. Okay, so initially I is having 0, I is pointed 0. Is this the element which is less than in the 44? No. So that now what we have to do is now this element which is less than your 44. So what you have to do is you should change your I. Yes, change your I. And after that, I'm going to mark this in a different color because this element which is less than your 44. And then as usual, now we have processed this I. Now I'm going to increment this 2. Now I have increment my 2. Now I'm going to work for this one. Look at your, compare it with your pivot, this 11 and your 44. This 11, which is less than your pivot means this I is going to point the smaller numbers. I is going to point the element which is less than this 44. So what I'm going to now is increment my I. That's it. So far, we have increment the Ri. In case if you found any lesser element, what we are going to do now is we are going to increment it. That's it, right? Okay. So now next element. Look at this 55. 55 is greater than your 44. So if you found any element which is greater than your 44, you should not alter your I, just incrementing your j. Now this becomes 4. Again, I'm going to compare this 44 and 77. This is greater, incremented, right? And then 5, compare this 90 and 44. 90 is greater than the 44. What you have to do? Increment it. Now listen, this 6, which is less than your 44. Which is less than your 44 means what you have to do is you should add this 40 to this green group. Okay, you should add this 40 to the green group. For that, this 2 is pointed this 11. So this 2 is pointed the last element which is present in the green group. Okay, if you want to add this 40 to this green group means the only possible is you can place this as a 3. So that now we got an algorithm. Now we got an exact sequence. Listen, if you have found any minimum value which is less than your pivot means, so what you have to do is first step is to increment your I. First step is to increment your I. Now your I points this 3. So what I'm going to do now is, see, listen, as we know that this 55 is greater than a 45. So this they all are in the same group, green, yellow group. This 55 should be there in a yellow group because this yellow group elements are the greater than 44. Right, so that now what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap this I and j. I'm going to swap this I and j. So if you have swap means here I'm going to place a 40, here I'm going to place a 55. Right, so now this 40 also we have added to the green group. Now we can continue our process. So okay, so far we have completed this 6th element. Now I'm going to process my 7th value. Look at the 60, which is greater than this 44. Increment your j. greater, increment, minimum. So now we have encounter a minimum which is less than this 44. So now what we have to do, we have to add this 22 to the green group. For that, first step is to increment your I value by 1. And after that, I'm going to add this 4 and 9. So sorry, swap this 4 and 9. So fourth index is having a 77, ninth index having a 22. So I'm going to swap these two values, right? So after swap, I'm going to mark this as a green, right? Okay, now we can continue our process. If we have continued it, this 10 is also greater, you don't need to do anything. 11 is also greater, you don't need to do anything. So now we have reached the end of an array. This J reached the end of an array. Okay, so now look at this. We have processed, we have split all these elements. We have split this array into a two part. One part is going to be having the all elements, which is going to be less than this 44. One part having the element which are all going to be greater than the 44. In case if you are having any element is equal to a 44, it can be either present in a left or right. Anything is fine. Anything is fine. Okay, at final stage, see, so far we have completed only this 44. Okay, so if you continue this process means at last this will get sorted. Right, so now we have split this element. Now what we can do is, if you want to place, see, listen, as we know that all these green colored elements are going to be less than this 44. So at the end of this 44, this is going to be the end of our green place. So what I can do is, I can place this 44 here, can place this 44 here and 24 here. So that I'm going to place my 44 here. I'm going to swap these two places. So 22 and then 44. So this is going to be our final result. So now we have split our array into a two parts according to the given pivot value. So that this is going to be our last result. This is what the algorithm of a quicksort. Right? Okay. So now in case if you are having any doubt in this, you can post it. Okay, super. Hope you people are understanding. Yes, would the same method be used for if the pivot is not? Yes, the algorithm is going to be same. Same, Chaitra. See, listen. Here I have considered the first element as my pivot. Okay, sometimes you might take the last element also a pivot. Last element, if you have considered your last element as pivot, means instead of starting your I from 0, you can start your I from -1, J from 0. Algorithm is going to be same. Super, super. Most of the people got clear, right? Yes. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. How to assign J value is 1. See, you can directly assign it. How to assign a variable int J is equal to 1. This is how you can assign it. Right? Okay, no doubts. No doubts. Okay, super. So no doubts on that. So now let's move to the next question. See, why didn't you place the element in order? The reason is pivot is nothing but we are going to consider this as one element. Pivot is nothing but they just name this, they have used some technical name for that. Okay, so this element is going to split this array into a two parts. So that really they just name it as a pivot. If the pivot is in the middle, then how, ma'am? Okay, that case I'll explain later. Okay, just to finish it now, let's discuss the next problem. Okay, so far we have completed only the four problems alone, right? Yes, you can consider any element in your array as a pivot, but you have to develop your algorithm. You have to change your algorithm according to that element. Can we take the last element to first and then solve? See, you should not change like that. See, pivot is nothing but one value. So what you can do is just keep, see, while doing your process, don't take that element for your process. That is going to be the only case. I'm going to start searching, right? I'm going to do a comparison. Okay, so based on that comparison, we can find either it can be a lesser or a greater. Okay, so for that comparison, you should not consider that pivot. That's it. That's the only reason. Otherwise, you can take any number as a pivot. For some standard, we always take a first element or a last element as a pivot. This is for some standard. Clear? Okay. See, the question is going to be, ma'am, 11 is less than 12. So why can't we keep instead of 22 in place? See, this is an algorithm, right? Hold on, guys. Let me share you the screen. Okay, see, I had one question. Why did we swap this 44 and 22 instead of taking 11? See, again and again, I'm repeating. Here, we didn't complete our sorting process. Okay, what we have done is I have segregated all the elements which are all less than this 44. At the same time, I have segregated all the elements which are all greater than this 44. Okay, so we have create one group. So all these elements which are all greater than the 44. That's it. Right? Okay, so and all these elements which is present in the range of 0 to 3, which are all less than 10 this 44. This is what the process of a quick sort. Okay, so we have done this process only once. We have to repeat this for getting the entire quicksort algorithm. See, this is what the algorithm, what we have to do is we have to do this process repeatedly to get until all elements are sorted. That's it. Clear? Okay. I hope it's clear for you all. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Let me show you the next question. Listen. Okay, so look at this question. So this thing also, there is no other option. You need to remember this. That's it. Okay, so listen, records are randomly distributed by a hash function in a space, right? So that can hold n number of record. The probability that the nth record is the first record, nth record is going to be the first record. So the result in a collision is, okay, so for this one, the answer is going to be the first one. The answer is going to be first one, right? Okay, so listen, n minus 1, n minus 2 up to n minus m minus 2, m minus 1. Okay, here look at the other option. Here also, which is similar to see last option also, which is similar to this one. But here, what they have done is here they have multiply, sorry, n minus m minus 2. But they have used m minus 1. Clear? Okay, so the correct option is going to be A. See guys, here no other option. Just remember this as an answer. That's it. Clear? So answer is going to be for this one is A. A is going to be the answer. Clear? Okay. So now let's move to the next question. Okay, look at this one. Which of the following is a direct search technique? Okay, direct search technique is going to be a hashing technique. The direct searching. Okay, without a search, we can do a direct access. So that is going to be a hashing technique. Okay, array comes under this technique. Array is nothing but a hashing. Indexing. Okay, we have generally used the term called indexing. Right. See, if you want to access one element into an array means, for example, how will you access the first element? Array of 0. Second element, array of 1. Third element, array of 2. We can directly access. But in case if it is a linked list means this is going to be a linear access. Okay, so in a linked list, if you want to access the third element, means you can't take that third element directly. So for that, what you have to do, you should start the process from the first node, which is nothing but the starting node. And from that, you can reach the second node, which is present in that linked list, and then third node. This is how you have to search it. So this comes under a linear search, right? Okay, so for this question, the answer is going to be what? Hashing. So the direct search algorithm, it's always going to be a hashing. On the other hand, you can call this the indexing method or a numbering method. Anything is fine. Clear? Okay. So now let's go to the seventh question. Yes. So this is going to be a seventh question. Okay, this is one kind of question. So listen, here they have given a pseudocode of the program. Okay, what you have to do is you should find the output for this one. Okay, for this kind of problem, definitely we should do a manual execution. Okay, so please take pen and paper, okay, and start execute it on your own. Yeah, we can't use a compiler to solve this one. We have to do a manual execution to get the desired output. Okay, so now okay, I'll give you 1 minute. Solve this one. After 1 minute, let's discuss this. Okay. Guys, don't post any answer while I'm showing the code because I can't able to see that. Okay. If I ask you to post the answer, at that time you can post your answer. Okay. See, listen, from this one, if, else, okay, else, I hope you all know that. See, here they have given just only the pseudocode. Okay, it can be in any language. Okay, they are going to give you just the pseudocode. Okay, guys, now you can post your answers. In case if you have solved this one, you can post it. What will be the output for this one? Super 7. Okay, most of the answer I got it as 7. No, this is not an error. Definitely this is not an error. Okay, super, most of the answer I got it as 7. Super, excellent. Okay. See, you don't need to bother about the indentation. Okay, guys, you don't need to bother about the indentation. See, this is how the question is going to be. They didn't do any indentation. Okay, you need to work based on the pseudocode. This is a pseudocode. While doing a program only, we need to maintain that proper indentation. Clear? I hope you got it. Super, super, excellent. Okay, most of the answer I got it as 7. Super. Let me explain it. Okay, guys, hold on. Let me explain the solution. Okay, the answer is going to be what? The answer is going to be 7. So the answer for this question is going to be what? 7. Right? Okay. So let me explain how it works. So listen, initially they have set your I and J. I is going to be 5 and J they have set it as a 7. Right? So if I plus J, I plus j is 5 plus 7. 5 plus 7 is what? 12. Right? So 5 plus 7, which is 12, is it greater than the 5? Yes. This one is greater than the 5. So this condition becomes true. So if this condition becomes true means next what we are going to do now is we are going to change our j with I plus 1. So if you have changed it with I plus 2, look at your I value. Your I value is 5. So 5 plus 2, again your j is going to replace it what? Your j is going to replace it with 7. And after that, I'm going to check this if j less than 5. Look at your j value 7. Is it less than 5? No. This condition becomes false. If it is becomes true means you will get the 5. Right? So this is becomes false means so the corresponding else part of this one. This is going to be one pair. Okay, if this condition becomes false, definitely this else will execute. So if this else will execute means what will you get? You will get this j as a result. If you print this j, look at your j value having a 7. So this else part is going to be the first one. This else part is going to be the pair of the first one. Okay, in case if this condition becomes false, this last else part will get executed. So this is how it works. Here they won't give you a proper indentation. This is how they have given a code. Okay, clear? Okay, so the answer for this one is going to be what? 7. So answer for this code is going to be a 7. Right? Okay, guys, got it? Shall we move to the next question? Okay, guys, shall we move to the next question? See, in exam, we are not sure for getting an indentation. See, while writing a pseudocode, there is a no need of write it in a, there is no need of following that indentation work. Okay, because we are going to write a pseudocode alone. Okay, you need to understand from that one. Okay, so let's start this. Okay, now let's discuss the next question. Okay, so the next one is going to be what? So the next one is going to be the 8th one. Okay, so listen, this is also one of these pseudocode they have given. Okay, let's start solve this one. See guys, when I ask you to post answer at that time only, please post answer. Okay, I can't able to see that, so that only. Okay, solve this one. Okay, answer. Guys, you can post your answer now. Display the question. Okay, I'll display the question. Answer A. A is going to be 204. Yes. 204, 49, 140, 204. So see, that is the okay. Most people are okay, guys. You can post your answer now. So most of the answer is going to be 204. Okay, mixed answer 49, 92. Okay, guys, you can post your answer now. Show me the question answer. Okay, wait. I'll show you the question. Sum plus is equal to the right syntax. Yes. 49, 204. Okay, guys, listen. Let's discuss the solution. Hold on. Let me show you the code. Let me show you the program once again. Guys, listen. See, don't bother about the syntax and all those things because this is just a pseudocode. Okay, this is just a pseudocode. This is not the entire code. So don't bother about the syntax and all those things. Listen, the maximum answer I got as 140. That is not an option, first of all. Okay, 140. And next one is after that. So the maximum result is going to be a 204. First of all, 140 is not even is present in the option, right? So 204. And very few of you has said 64 as the answer, right? So the answer is going to be what? Answer is going to be, and I got 49 also. Sorry, I got 49 also, right? So this is also very few answers. I got 49. So the answer for this one is going to be what? 49. Right, so let me explain how did we get that 49 as a result. So the answer for this one is going to be what? 49. So if you want, so listen, once again, you can take a look of a question. Right, so listen, as I told you that, see, for this kind of problem, definitely we need a pen and paper. I, J, sum, N. These are the variables we have used here. Okay, J we didn't use, so we don't need to bother about. Okay, look at your sum. Sum they have set it as 0. And N they have set it as what? 7. Right, okay, and initially we are going to start this one. We are going to start our I from 1. How many times we are going to repeat this is going to be n times. So we are going to repeat this process for n times. So inside this one, what I have done is sum plus is equal to I into I. Sum plus is equal to I into I. Right, so look at your I is 1. 1 into 1 plus 0, you will get 1 as a result. Right, okay, and then next one, what we are going to know is we are going to increment this 2. Okay, so next time what you have to do, 2 into 2. 2 into 2, you will get what? 4. Already the sum is going to be 1. So if you add it, this becomes a 5. And next time your I becomes 3. Your I becomes 3. Okay. Sum plus is equal to I into I. Okay, guys, sorry. Listen, actually plus is not here. Okay. Okay, guys, let me explain both the cases. Okay, sorry. So initially I have placed a plus over here, right? Okay, first let's finish with this one. Okay, then I'll explain that. Okay, so listen, 4. And the next time, sorry, first let's finish for 3. 3 into 3, what you got is 3 into 3 is going to be a 9, right? So if you add 5 to this one, 3 into 3, what you got it? We got 9. Okay, so if you add 5 to it, you will get 14. and then next this one becomes a 4. If it becomes a 4, add now 4 square will gives you 16. So if you add this to 14, you get 30 as a result. And the next one is going to be what? 5, right? So 5 into 5 is 25. If you add to this one, you get 55. Am I right? Yes, 25, 55. And the next one is going to be 6, 36. So if you add 36 to your number, you'll get 91. Am I right? Yes, 91. And the next one is going to be the 7. So 7 means 49. So 49 plus this one, you'll get 140. Okay, super. Okay, super. Listen, sorry. So listen, once that I becomes a 8, this is going to be stop. Okay, super. See, listen, guys. Here I made a mistake in this question. Okay, so sorry for that. Listen. In case if there is a plus equal to here means definitely the answer is going to be 140. Definitely the answer is going to be what? 140. Right? But for this question here you should not have a plus. Okay, so if, by mistake I place a plus over here. Okay, but there is no plus over here. So if you have write like this, at that time you can't do accumulate addition. You can't do accumulate addition, right? So for that what we have to do, 0 initially set it with 1 and then assign. Here there is only an assignment statement. Here there is only a assignment statements are there. So next time sum will get replaced with 4 and then 9 and then 16 and then 25 and then 36 and then 49. So the last value of the sum is going to be what? 49. Clear? So in case if there is no accumulate addition means the last assignment for this one is going to be what? 49. So that only, so the answer for this question is going to be what? 49. Clear? Okay, I hope this is clear for you. Okay, so first and one more thing, sorry for this mistake. Clear? Okay, guys, is it clear for you? See, I already told you that you can't write plus equal. Plus equal, it's not a correct syntax. Yes. Okay, but while writing a pseudocode, this is okay. In this question, actually, plus should not be there. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. See, in this question, plus should not be there. By mistake, I put a plus over there. Okay. So listen, and after that, can we write the assessment in mobile? See, I'm not sure about that. Okay. Shivani, you can't understand. Okay. Okay, let me explain it once again. For I to n should be considered or not n. See, for I to n means you should consider n. Okay, okay. See, listen, guys, listen. I'll explain it. I'll explain all of your questions. So listen, you people are asking, is I plus is equal to, sorry, plus equal to or equal plus is going to be same. See, while writing a program, this is not a same. While writing a program, this is not the same. But while writing a pseudocode, this is okay. While writing a pseudocode, this is okay. That is a plus operation and assignment operation. This both indicates there is an addition and then assignment. Okay. So while writing a program, see here, this is a pseudocode. This is going to be a pseudocode. Okay. So this is while writing a pseudocode itself. Okay. If they have given equal plus, that is fine. Clear? Okay. So, and one more thing, listen, here there is only a assignment. Here there is only a assignment. Okay. If there is only an assignment means every time the sum will get assigned with a new value. So initially I have assigned it with 1 into 1, 2 into 2, and then 3 into 3, 4 into 6. So this is how we are going to keep on reinitialize our sum. So finally we have end up with what? So the last one we have met is going to be a 7. So 7 into 7, 47. And one more question you have posted as, while processing a I to N, we have to include this I or not? Definitely we have to include N. While processing a I, in case if they have mentioned 1 to N means you have to include this N. Okay, or else they have mentioned it as I starts from 1, okay, to process less than N. If they ask you to process less than means, this is how they have mentioned. Okay, I for I 1 to less than N. This is one option of express less than N. Or else what they have done is for I 1 to N minus 1. Okay, so or else for I1 to N. So if they have mentioned for I to N means you should process up to the last one, which is N. You should process up to the last N. Clear? Okay. I hope it's this clear for you. I hope it is clear for you. Okay, guys. Hold on, guys. Let me post the attendance link for you. Okay, so hold on. Let me post the attendance link. Yes, I have posted the attendance link. Okay, posted attendance